When you mentioned your story about sitting with a friend and, you know, I don't know if you actually said, I see dead people or,
I did, yes.
oh, okay.
And cried.
Where were you? What was the turning point? What caused you to finally recognize and step into that? Was it a book? Was it a video? Was it something you read on the mirror of a bathroom? Like, what was that push? Was it just the atmosphere you were in? What was that push to get you to finally feel it, know it, but then step into it in the real world?
So my answer to that is kind of funny. It's not actually humorous when I was living through it. Now it is. But I think, like most things, when there's a truth within us that wants to be acknowledged, that wants to be expressed, it will ooze out of us, right? So whether that's unconscious behavior, whether that's acting out, whether that's projecting, whatever that is, it comes out. So mine came out in my sleep. And for my whole life, I had nightmares and I would walk in my sleep and talk, and I was a hot mess in my sleep. My husband at the time would come home late from work and say I'd be standing in the corner of the room, like talking to people, telling people to go to the light. And frankly, my sleep was incredibly disrupted. I'd been through all these sleep studies. They never found anything neurologically wrong with me. They couldn't explain me, except I had every sleep disorder under the umbrella of walking and talking. And so I had gone for a sleep study, and once again, they found nothing wrong with me. And I was in a conversation with a best friend who was incredibly intuitive. She's a tarot card reader and astrologer based out of Boston. And I just said, this is what I think is happening, and I don't know what to do with it. And that conversation was, I remember where I was sitting. We were on the phone. The wall in front of me was painted red. I was sitting at a desk. I remember what I was wearing. I remember what she said. I still have the notes I took. And basically what we came to was like this, it's sort of like a river current. And if you don't let the river run where it's supposed to run, it'll come out somehow. And so looking back, knowing what I know now, almost 20 years later, I have an access to the other side, and I think that folks from the other side were coming to me because they wanted help. They wanted their loved ones to receive help. But I wasn't open to it in my waking life. I wasn't acknowledging it. And so it was happening in my sleep, which is where your consciousness is sort of like here and there. And I remember the day that I decided, I feel like I accepted the mission to do this and be this. And it was like 5:30 in the morning. I was reading a powerful book. I had read a passage. I started crying, but it wasn't emotional. There was no emotion attached. It was just like a release. And through the tears, I said, okay, I'll help. I'll do what I'm supposed to do on the planet. I'll help. And then afterwards, I said, but you have to let me sleep. And so since then, it's been so much better. My sleep is so much better. I still definitely walk and talk in my sleep. But it's certainly not as disrupted as it was. But essentially, like, this truth came for me. My path came for me, like it does for you, like it does for every single one of us. It's just sort of a matter of like what confluence of life events are created to pull it out of you. And how long does it take for you to get on your knees and release everything and say, all right, there's nothing more to do but follow the river current.